Hello, Cancer Moon, fourth house moon. Hey, you're sexy. Did you know that? You're really quite special because this moon is the epitome of the woman. Even if you're a man, it doesn't really matter. Fourth house moon, Cancer moon is just sex on toast, really, you guys. It's just something really delicious, divine, delectable. It is something that is knowing with its hands and its body. It just knows how to poise. It just knows how to hold and how to just stretch out and just, come in again. There is something about this moon that is very much like Hollywood diva in the 1950s. There is something incredibly polite and very well spoken, very well dressed, very well groomed, very well assumed by society as something perfect. If you've got a Cancer moon, you're most likely a woman, if you're a woman, somebody who's very polite on the outside, okay? But inside you're kind of thinking, stuff this, and that, and that. Is this like a very interesting presence where you're incredibly polite and loving and caring and lavish, but at the same time you sort of look at people and you kind of go, no. And sometimes it's even not about like snobbery, well it is, or scrutiny of other people. It's just about the ability of being a little bit sad or unnerved about something. There will be something forever going on for this moon where you've got people and places and things change around you. Even if you're at home, things come into your home, things get introduced, people come in, people go out, perhaps you sort of delegate them in some way, but in the end you kind of feel misconstrued, misallowed and misinterpreted. Even if you've got this like amazing dress on, you've got $1 million in your bank account and you're sitting on a porch of somebody's great mansion and you're sitting there with a friend, who's got like a deal on diamonds or something like that, and you're sitting there, you're sipping champagne, you got this sad face. Darling. Oh yeah, I know, darling. Yes, I know, darling. Oh, darling. And you're talking about boys. And she's saying, did you know that my ex-husband came over and he, took all of his photos and then he abused me. He slapped me in the face and I cried the whole night through and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And she'll turn it into like a very strong experience for you. And you'll just be like, oh, okay. And you'll be sipping and you go like, oh goodness gracious, and inside you'll be like, oh goodness, why have I come here? Oh goodness, my feet are hurting. But at the same time she'll think that you're completely connected, you're completely interconnected with her, everything is complete. Like there'll be like this wonderful illusion of connection, and then at the end you'll be like, oh honey, oh that is so sad. And then she'll be like, well, why are you so depressed all the time? What's going on with you? I'm really concerned. And you'll be like, oh honey, okay, so I went to the ballet with my old instructor and he just left me there. He said that his car was like on fire or something. Well, I didn't really care for it. He just gave me the keys to this giant mansion that his mother left him, and he said that I could just walk in any time. And of course, like I walked in and then there was all this jewelry and there were all these things, and and then I would sort of spend a few nights there. There's a big balcony, big rose garden and everything like that. And then I came out of the door and then there was this man and he said, is this your yacht? And I said no, but then he said, can I get the yacht? And I'll say, well, I guess you can have the yacht, I don't know, it's not mine. And then he just took the yacht and he left me a few $1,000s just in hand because he really enjoyed what he was looking at. And I was just sitting there in the middle of the street, and then this boy came to me and he gave me a bunch of roses, and then this woman invited me to her house. And you'll have like really crazy invites here and there. It's like you'll just pull people in, you'll pull in money, you'll pull in society, you'll pull in like upper class individuals, and you'll still complain about it. There will be an air of just like, oh goodness, oh these people, oh goodness, goodness, goodness. And there will be something within you that will not want it if it's easy. So this moon is something that doesn't like things simple. Like, if something is given to you, you will most likely find something wrong with it. Like, well, that guy gave me all this money for this boat that I didn't own. how do you feel about that? You know, like just something like that. Like something will come to you out of the blue and give you something for nothing. And at the same time, you kind of know why. And it's because you've got an illusion in you that you are wonderful when you don't feel it. But when you're in a misconstrued situation, you've got a partner, you know, they keep on going out, keep on being drunk all the time, you know, they keep on doing this and that. You will likely pursue them with gusto. Like, but he'll never come home. And then I'm on the bed and I got all the rose petals, you know, around me, and he's just late, you know, and I look at the time and it's 2 a.m. and I've been on this bed with all these rose petals for 3 hours just crying to myself, and all my perfectly applied mascara is all over my face, you know, that kind of thing. So the thing with this moon is that it enjoys really weird drama that it doesn't want to really need, but it does. But then when things are early and frequent and easy, it's just like, yeah, well, he was on time, and he brought me like a big bouquet of lilies, and he gave me a watch, and he paid for my meal at this top class restaurant. And I just looked at him, you know, and I said, you know what, Gary, I think we're wrong for each other. You know, something like that. There will be something in this moon that will recognize things that are hurtful as pleasant, and things that are easy as just below, like for some reason. And this is why this energy is very good for any type of mother. Is good for any type of purification person. Purification of things that are not working because they're lying, you know, coated with lies. For example, an accountant in a dodgy firm. Wonderful. Anybody who runs underground work. Anybody who's working from the home environment without placing too much issue in the home. So for example, if you're looking at working from your actual home where you sleep and eat, it's not going to be very giving for you in the long run. So if you're working at a nursery, like a plant nursery, no, not for everyone. This is not for, okay. This is like a general. I'm just sort of trying to get the medium of the collective on this energy. If you're not that, I'm sorry. This is just the medium that's coming across, you know, Libra weighing things up. So if you've got like a business somewhere where it's like a cake decorating shop, if you're a woman, and you come home, you know, and then you go away somewhere which feels more like home than home, this is very nice. But if you've got some kind of an obsessive energy where you're working, it's not very good. Though if you are working somewhere that is obsessive, you will likely make mistakes or make strange conclusions about people, and then you'll be like, oh, what's wrong with me, you know? But then you'll do something and I'll be like, that's fine. Like say you're making a cake and you made a mistake and it's all scratched or ripped or something, and you'll be like, for a second, but then you'll just look around, see who's looking, and then you'll just make a little ornament, and then you just stick it on top of the mistake, and then everybody thinks it's the most amazing thing they've ever seen, but you'll be like, it's fine, okay. There'll be like a lunar eclipse every now and then in you where you don't feel at home anywhere, like any kind of job, any kind of society, any kind of anything. Even though you can make mistakes into something grand and you really rule the world of illusion in a huge, big way, you'll find a place where if the moon is either full in like an air sign or a water sign with an edge like Scorpio, like there's Pluto involved, or if there's like a solar eclipse maybe, or if there's like possibility of rain, jokes, if there's like a possibility of any kind of stimulus that is lunar that is unlikely, usually you will feel like you don't fit in somewhere. So watch out for those goofy podcasts, my podcasts, you know, talking about the different lunar activity that is unusual or that is very surreal, because you'll feel strange, like you don't really need to be there where you are, or you're here where you don't want to be, or, you know, people don't need you or something like that. There will be a collective issue that you will need to face. So this is why, this is what, and this is how. You get everything from both worlds if you want. You know, you get people falling all over you, you get people who come into your life, you know, and they kind of fall in love with you for no reason, or you be given something for no reason. It'll be easy, but you need to succumb to that. You'll be like, thank you. Like, really be genuine. Be like, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that you love me and care for me. Because sometimes there'll come a time when there's unusually lunar activity. You've got like strange conjunction, you know, Pluto, Scorpio, Moon together. You know what I mean? And then suddenly for like a while and for years to come, there'll be an echo of that energy. And you'll be like deeply scarred. Like, he just walked out with another girl, or like she was there, but then she just like basically stabbed me in the back in front of all these people. There'll be something that comes through, and these weird lunar frequencies, lunar waves, that will just be very personal. Then you'll have to carry it for a long time. So basically enjoy the good with the bad. When things come to you easy, don't brush them off like, oh God, you know, he's there again, he's begging me to come back, you know. Don't brush them off. Like, say if you've got good kids, you know, if you do have children, like, don't be like, oh goodness, Mary, just stop complaining, you know, like, don't brush them off. Just give them the time of day, because then there'll come a time when the lunar activity is lined up astrologically to be like bad or awkward, and then that awkward feeling you carry with you like in your bones for a long time. So just know that the lunar activity is what controls you and what sort of torments you. It's not really other people, even yourself. It's like an out of control kind of passage through time for you in a long run. So just take the good with the bad and be thankful for both. And if you cannot be thankful, if you're somebody who really struggles to be grateful for things, which is most likely, I would suggest dominate that feeling with, it's going to sound really weird, with lies. You know, dominate that feeling with lies. If you don't want to be grateful, you know, you don't want to be grateful for things. Somebody gives you something you don't want it or something like that, well, lie and say, thank you, I really enjoyed that dinner. You know, I really did enjoy that vacation. I really did enjoy that my child brought a painting from school and it looked heaps like me, really. Just be generous and be like, thank you, I actually really did like that. Even if it's just with words. Because what you do when you do that is like, people feel like over the moon. People feel over the moon when you can give them just a slight polite question or that slight polite gesture, because what you give with your polite speech and your polite words and your polite way of being is like beyond all else. It's like we all look to you like you're our mother sometimes, and it's like, are you impressed with me? And you can be like, thank you, that was wonderful. And we go, thank you, I feel so good. Because like everything that you give to us, it like reflects in our fascia, and it reflects in our mother issues, and it reflects in the world like heaps. And it may not be a lot to you, but just the smallest gestures of kindness and helping other people really complete us in some way. So thank you very much for your mysticism and your magic and your work or your non-work, whatever you do. You're doing it great. Thank you so much. If you'd like a reading, I'd love to do one for you. If you don't, that's fine as well. In any case, check out your chart, check out your website in the link below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.